one in the sky. If you see one manifest before your very eyes, if you see a strange creature looking outside, then tell it on accounts of the paranormal. Hear it on accounts of the paranormal. Welcome to accounts of the paranormal.
Welcome to the show. This is usually the part of the program where I ease into a brief opening monologue and introduce tonight's guests. But this episode is a little different. It's not all that haunt us are spirits or shadows that vanish as quickly as they appear. Often the demons that plague us in the worst possible ways come to us under far more familiar names: addiction, abuse, despair, causing unimaginable pain and suffering for the afflicted and for those who love them. These are often the most wicked and the most difficult demons to defeat. Recently, I was contacted by an anonymous support group made up of individuals who believe they are being haunted by an ancient, malevolent winter entity commonly referred to as the Jingle Man. According to them, the Jingle Man is a winter monster that appears in the aftermath of tragedy or crime, announcing its presence through the constant, high-pitched ringing of sleigh bells. Over time, its victims describe it being worn down, isolated, and seduced, until many feel compelled to take their own lives, either to escape the torment or to join the Jingle Man in death. Whether the Jingle Man is a literal entity or a name given to something far more familiar, the experiences of those affected are painfully real. This anonymous group asked if I would be willing to have one of their members on the show, using an alias to protect their identity, so they could share their story. And tonight, I welcome Kat to the show. But before we continue, I want to say this. If you are having thoughts of suicide, you are not alone, and help is available. You can dial 988 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, anywhere in the United States and its territories. Again, that number is 988. Kat, welcome to the show.
Hi, it's good to be here.
Thank you for being here. I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah.
I know you have a very interesting and unique experience that you've been going through, and I appreciate you coming on to talk about it and sharing it. I know it can be difficult. So if you don't mind, what I'd like to do is to go back before this started. What was life like? And then the event that kind of kicked this off for you.
Yeah, sure. So I guess if we want to go back from the very, very beginning, it's probably 2 Christmases ago. So I was still in college at this time. I had, I've had a really rough life, I think, up until that point. Growing up, I guess I never really felt like I was always present in the moment whenever I was with other people. They always seemed happier than me, or like it wasn't hard for them to pretend to fit in. So I tried my best every day to just, put on a face or this character to kind of be like them as best as I could. And I thought I was doing a good job, but I guess I wasn't, because my parents started making me see a therapist. So I was very soon after that diagnosed with depression. So as I got older, in my head, I somehow thought that, college was going to be that switch, like that once I left home, I became independent, that all my problems would be solved, the depression would go away, I'd just be like everyone else. And then when I went to college and that didn't happen, I decided to turn to substances to help me kind of feel anything. Well, specifically painkillers. So it especially got worse when I turned 21. So anytime I was awake, I was pretty much taking pills. I started to ditch classes and party all the time. As you can imagine, I ended up blowing my savings pretty quickly. So around this time, the holidays were coming up. I was about to go back home, but I had no money to spend on family. I had a boyfriend at the time, and we would meet up when I came home from break. Um, so around this time, I remember being kind of overwhelmed with the thought of going back home and facing my family, and having to admit that I did end up kind of flunking out of a few classes. And I had all this stuff that I kind of had to face. So I, texted my friend group to meet up and party at this frat that we like to go to. And so we were there, we're partying. I sorry, I don't really like admitting to this part.
No worries. Take your time and just talk about what you're comfortable with.
Yeah. Okay. So I went out with some friends that I would get high with. So we went to that party. I was running low on pills at the time, so I wanted to stock up before the break and, for the night. So there was this guy that was at the party that I usually get my pills from, and I didn't have any money at the time to really give. So um, I uh, I I offered to trade sex for pills, and he agreed. And we partied, we got high, and I thought the night would go like normal. And I would just go home. I'd be up. I'm sorry. Um, so I went home, and I would think I would pass out in my room or whatever. And so fast forward a little bit. Everything kind of started to die down for me. I got into a fight with the DD of the night. After the adrenaline worn off, when everything happened, I started to feel really shitty about myself, and I realized I cheated, and that's not something that I've ever done before. And I felt so terrible. I just wanted to go home. I wanted to leave, and he wasn't ready to go. So um, being as intoxicated as I was at the time, I decided it was in my own best interest to steal his keys. I took his keys, and um, I remember running outside, and it was so cold. And I got into the car, and I started driving, and I just started thinking about everything in my life up until that point. And it was almost like a haze, like I was there but wasn't really there. And then I hit a pothole, and I slid off to the side of the road, and I hit a tree. And I was okay. It wasn't anything too crazy. I did break my nose, and I had a bruised rib. And so it was a hard time. I remember somehow being in the hospital, and just like I remember waking up thinking, this can't be my life, and I decided to go home and try to kind of figure my life out a little bit. So I ended up talking to my parents more, trying to open up a little bit more. And I found it in my own best interest to, tell my boyfriend what happened. And he ended up breaking up with me, and it was Christmas Eve. And that was kind of my breaking point. I remember I was trying so hard to hold on, and I was thinking, this is the right thing to do. I'm talking to people now. I'm going to talk to him. I'm going to work it out. I'm going to get my life together. And then when it kind of didn't work out the way I was hoping, that's when things kind of got really dark. And that's also the night that I tried to kill myself. And um I took a bunch of painkillers, whatever I had left at the time, and yeah, I remember uh waking up in, a hospital room the next day. um I was on suicide watch. They told me my mom had found me. um and I'm lying in this hospital bed. I'm just thinking to myself, how panicked she probably was when she found me. And that made my heart ache so much that it was actually painful. um and I decided that that day, as I was laying in that bed, that I would quit and try to get my life together. I started going to support groups. um and at the time it was honestly more for my parents than it was for me. um and the whole thing you know felt fake to me. The support group thing at the time, I just felt so performative, and that they didn't really sorry, they didn't really care whether or not I lived or died. And it's just, it was a rough time, and I just remember feeling so lonely. And that's actually when everything sort of started. I remember this one support group that we had a meeting, and there was a break about 30 minutes in, and I heard somebody mention the Jingle Man. And um I what is that? Like, it just kind of caught my attention. And I looked over at the group of girls that was kind of talking about it, and one of them noticed them, and she asked me, like, do you know the Jingle Man? And I was like, not really. I don't really know what that is. So she basically was saying to me, um they started to talk about how when it gets late at night and it's cold outside, you'll start to hear these weird noises coming from the dark. And then one of the girls asked me, like, and then you'll start to hear the bells. Have you heard the bells yet? And I was like, what? What are we even talking about? And I at first I thought they were actually messing with me. I like laughed it off, as this joke. And then, but they just, it was this look on one of their faces. I specifically remember one of the girls looked so serious when she was telling me this story, that I just could, there was like a part of me that was like, I kind of, I'm believing you, but I don't know if it's just, I'm in a vulnerable state. I feel alone. Like, there's these girls that are finally talking to me. I'm finally talking to someone other than myself. So am I, just super vulnerable right now? But they started telling me that, you know, when it's really cold outside, I'm going to start to hear these really weird noises. And then, but they were saying it to me like it was going to happen, more like a warning than it was just a scary story you would tell your friends. It was kind of, it was unsettling, to be honest. And the one, there was this one thing she said to me, and she said it happens in three stages. What they said: one, when it's cold and dark and I'm all alone, I'll hear like a ringing in my ears. It's like quiet, but it like will always be there. Um, she said two, um, the dreams will start, and she said that I'll have more. Well, they're not dreams; they're nightmares. And I asked, okay, well, what are the nightmares about? And they said they will appear. And I, who's they? And they described them as people standing there staring at you, naked, dead, and covered in blood. And they said, I'd start off by seeing them in my dreams, and then slowly over time, I'll start to see glimpses of them in my real life. Um, and then I'd question if I'd see them at all. And then, like, it would just be full schizophrenic mode at that point. That's what I took from what they were saying. And then they said 3, once the hallucinations stopped, you know, like I'd finally see him or the Jingle Man or whatever they called him. So again, at this point, I'm kind of unsure whether or not they are being serious or if they're joking, but there's just like this part of me that really truly, you know, believes what they're saying and is taking it in. And then, you know, a few days passed and life moves on, and I legitimately forgot about it for a while, and then I just come and go as normal. I go home, do my thing, and then it started to get to the point where I couldn't stop thinking about the story that they told me, to the point where I was just I just couldn't sleep. Like it was just constantly thinking about the Jingle Man and seeing these people. And so, you know, I went back to my group that week and I started talking to them more about it. And I asked them, who are these people? What are they? Who are they supposed to be? And they explained that it was the people that you would see in your nightmares are his past victims. And so, I mean, it added a whole new creepy level factor.
For sure. And at this point, while you're going to group, were you still taking medications at this time?
Yeah, so I was still on medication. I mean, yeah, I still am to this day, but it's just not nearly as bad as it was when I first got there. I basically on just regular antidepressants at this point, and I was at the time as well. And yeah, they just kind of planted it on me in the set in our meeting. I mean, I kind of did ask for it. I did go up to them and kind of try and figure out what they were talking about. It just kind of intrigued me. I didn't know what they were. I've never heard of anything like that before, and even now I've tried to do research on the topic and I haven't really been able to find that much. It's just based off of what they tell me, and I don't know where they found it from either.
Yeah, it is difficult to find information on the Jingle Man. That's very interesting. It was the first time I had heard it between our communication. Everyone in this group was familiar or knew and spoke about the Jingle Man.
So no, it wasn't everyone. It's just these like so there's these like 4 girls that kind of just like talk a lot at the group, and they just kind of talk a lot all the time, and they're known. You see one of them, you're going to see all of them, and they just kind of talk with each other all the time about random things. And I just was overhearing them during our break, and I walked up to them and talked to them about it, and they did say that it's something that they've kind of like heard whispers of before in group themselves. So I'm assuming they probably also heard it from someone else in group, but they're probably, I don't think they go there anymore. I don't know where they went, but um yeah, they found out about it in group before I even got there. So I mean, I don't know. I feel like I sound so stupid. Because they have said stuff and I can't tell if it's like manifested itself into my own life or if it's genuine.
So they started talking about this, and you started asking questions about it. And what point did it start to manifest in you or with you? What kind of became of that?
Okay, I okay, so I like I said before, I started to think about it all the time, and it got to the point where I just couldn't sleep, and I relapsed back like um uh 6 months ago now, I guess, if we're keeping track. But I started to relapse because I couldn't sleep, and I needed something to make it easier to fall asleep. And it got to the point where I was thinking about so many things all the time. It was the Jingle Man, this spooky story that they're telling at group, just the whole mess of my whole life in general, trying to stay clean. You know, I'm still haven't really talked to my parents in a long time, and Eventually I'd like to rekindle our relationship and, you know, working and trying to figure out what I want to do with my life. It's just, there's so many things all the time going on in my head. But recently they've just been like so loud, you know, like really loud. And it's gotten to the point where I I can't focus on even sleeping, so I just drink so that I can stop. It's basically gotten to the point where it's like a ringing in my head because I'm just thinking all the time. And um it's just always in the back of my head or these thoughts of just constant of the Jingle Man, of drinking, of getting my life together, of all these things. And it's fine because, you know, what I've noticed is like as, you know, the seasonal depression or whatever you want to call it ends and you get into the spring, I start to feel better and things are fine and things are good and life goes back to normal and I feel like, you know, I can, you know, keep up with my own life and I can get my life together. And then it starts to get cold again. And then I don't know what happens. And it's just the sun sets early and it's just dark all the time. And I can't keep the thoughts away. And they're just so loud. Yeah, it's just, like I said, it's just like a ringing in my ears. And so, yeah, it got to that point where I just couldn't sleep. And, you know, I'd rather stay up and, or I'd rather drink than stay up. And I started to, I think, you know, manifest those visions of those people or whatever you want to call them, the victims, or I guess is what they like to call them. And you know, I genuinely think it's probably the lack of sleep at this point. Um, and I mean, it scared the hell out of me the first time I saw it or thought I saw it. And um, I've just been trying to like not have to see it again. So drinking, taking painkillers, and, you know, getting high is just better than having to face the reality of all that, if that makes sense.
It's difficult. You've been through a lot. That is an understatement. And I can't even imagine. And I'm glad you have a support group that helps. Where do you think this comes from? Is it like you're saying you believe you're imagining this? Are you kind of just focused on what they told you and you're creating these visions? Do you believe you've seen anything?
Um, well, yeah. I mean, it's so hard to really figure out what's going on in my head because I feel like every single day for my entire life I've always kind of second guessed everything that I'm feeling. Um, and you know, that applies with the situation as well. I mean, this was the first time I think I've ever heard of anyone talk about the Jingle Man or seen anything about it. I found out about this um through my support group actually because they some one of the girls found it and they told me, you know, you should go and talk about our experience or your experience or whatever. And I still haven't really I haven't really come to terms with what I think I've seen. Um, but I guess to answer your question is I have, yeah, I've seen, I think I've seen what they're talking about when it comes to the victims. It was really late and I just took a bunch of pills and the ringing in my ears was starting to, you know, slowly go away. And I remember drifting off to sleep and I just, for a split second, I thought I heard, you know, like a shuffling in my room. And so I just turned to the side and I see just it was a person and, you know, it's what you would imagine, I guess, a corpse to look like. They were covered in blood and just kind of staring at me. Um and I believe I think it was a man. And he was naked and covered in blood and just staring at me. And it was really quick. It happened really fast. And at first I sat up right away. I turned the lights on and I didn't see it after I turned the lights on, and it sorry, I'm just saying it sounds so stupid. Um
No, it's okay. You take your time.
uh, yeah. Um I just hope I'm not losing my mind. Um I mean, at least I don't think I am, cuz
I think just from little that we spoke here, you sound very strong, and I've heard so many positive things, statements that you've made, and that's a great sign. Your desire, to
yeah.
kindle your relationship with your family, your parents, that's fantastic, and that's really important. And you should, focus on that, stay in that lane.
Yeah, thank you.
You're stronger than you think. Um, Obviously, the alcohol and the meds, I don't think those things are helping very much.
Yeah.
What those people in group, they kind of planted this, just from what I see, and I don't know anything, so I'm not even going to pretend to, but it just seems like they planted this in your mind and you kind of focused on it. But again, I'm hearing a lot of good things.
Thank you. Yeah.
So where are you at this time, at this moment? It sounds like you're getting the right help. Those girls are out of that group, I think you said, so I think that's a good thing. Where are things at the moment for you?
Yeah, so um to go with that, yes, not having the girls in the group is good for me in some ways, because they're the reason this whole thing started, I feel. But at the same time, I'm still left with this. I have all these thoughts about this ghost story that they told me that for some reason just won't leave my head. Um and I don't really have anyone to talk to about it. It's gotten to the point where I don't know if I tell anyone, I feel like they're going to look at me like I'm insane, and um they convinced me to do this, but it's relatively anonymous, so it's easier, but yeah, I don't know what to do with what I know and what I'm feeling and what I'm seeing, but to go off of what you said, I am still in group. I'm in therapy. And I'm living in a crappy 1-bedroom apartment as of right now, but it's better than where I was. And um, I don't really have a lot of people in my life right now. Every once in a while I'll, contact the girls from group, but it's just once I start talking to them about it, I notice that's when I start to think about it a lot more. Um, and it becomes almost dangerous. And yeah, so I feel really alone. But I'm trying to do what the doctors are telling me to do, and because I've been told that's what works and that's what you're supposed to do. So that's where we're at.
What are they telling you in general about what's happening and what you're seeing or imagining? What are they telling you?
They're kind of telling me that they just, they feast, or the Jingle Man, they feasts on the sad or the depressed, or um he feasts on the people that are alone and have nothing left to turn to. Basically, I mean, I should have honestly, just saying it out loud, I should have immediately from the jump just walked away from the conversation because it sounds ridiculous. Um and I know that they definitely said that to get under my skin, because that's basically me to a T. Um yeah, honestly, the more I talk about it, I feel like they were probably punking me, or I don't know. See, because I get to this point and then I go back, and then some nights I'll be by myself and I think I'm seeing things, and then I think I'm losing my mind. It's just like this back and forth situation. I just don't know what to do, and
Yeah, and those were the people in the group that told you this. What about the group leaders, the doctors? What are they saying?
Um, it's honestly, it's a little weird because they kind of always just got weird about the topic, and they just told us to kind of talk about something else, or um they asked us to just table that topic for another time or talk about it later. Um, they just didn't. Anytime they heard about it or heard anyone talking about it, they asked us to stop. Um, but they never said, oh, that's not true, or they always got like a little weird around the topic, and anytime we started talking about it, they just shut it down. So we tried to talk about it silently or during our breaks, which is when I heard about it the first time. And it just became like a gossip, like the thing we weren't supposed to talk about. And so then it made us want to talk about it more. And then, it went from there.
And I didn't realize this was all so recent. It just started a couple of years ago.
Yes, yeah. The accident was 2 years ago.
So you say it comes in the wintertime, it gets cold. How has this season been? We just went through the holidays, we're into a new year. What's going on at the moment? How are you feeling right now?
Partially the reason I wanted to even, have this conversation or felt motivated enough to agree to have this conversation is because I've started to, see them again. And the ringing is getting louder again, and it's, same time every year, like clockwork. It's been happening for the last few years now, and every year I get to the summertime and I feel good, and I'm, you know, feeling great about my life again, and I feel like my life is turning around, and I always think, by the time winter happens, it's not going to happen to me this time. This time it's going to be fine. We're going to like it was a dud few years, but we've come through the other side. Then winter rolls around and I'm right here and things are happening again, and it's getting, you know, scary.
How often does this happen? And when this does come on, how long does it last? And then how do you deal with it when it comes on?
Basically, I just it's so scary when it happens. Because it just in the moment you're trying to decide whether or not what's happening is real. And you start to feel crazy, and living alone, it's not easy either. I can't, turn to the person next to me and ask, is this, can you see this too? So sometimes I just stare at them and they stare back and they never move. They never scream, they never say anything. They never walk any closer, they just stare. And it's like they're staring at a part of yourself that you don't even know about, if that makes any sense. And it's just, God, it's so scary. It's like you're paralyzed and you can't move. And you don't want to move because you feel like if you move, they're going to move closer or something's going to happen. And so, what I've done is I've started to keep a light next to my bed, and I turn it on, and sometimes that helps, and sometimes they go away. Uh, but there's other times too where um, I still see them, and the only way to get them to go away is to just try to force yourself to fall asleep. And the only way that I've been successful in doing that is drinking or getting high in some way so that I can focus long enough on not paying attention to them that I can sleep, you know.
So the drinking, that's still going on?
Uh, yeah, yeah.
Okay. What else?
Well, I sometimes I miss group, you know. I just don't feel like going to the place where it kind of all started. But then, you know, I just sometimes people still talk about it. Every once in a while, I'll hear the whispers of people talking about, oh, the Jingle Man theory or conspiracy or whatever. And it just makes me think about then going to bed and sleeping. And then it gives me anxiety. And I just rather not think about it during the day if I don't have to. But now I'm missing like the good parts of group where I'm not really talking about anything to anybody really. I just kind of go to work and come home, and I live this lonely life and I don't really have anyone to talk to or share it with, and I think it's making it worse, to be honest. But I feel like it's so much easier any time of the year. I can just get myself out of bed, talk to the people I need to talk to, do what I need to do, and it's fine. I don't know why I can't do that now or during this time of the year. It's just so frustrating. It's like there's something wrong with me, you know? So,
So you're working. What else are you doing away from group? What are your hobbies? What do you enjoy?
well, I like to draw, and I like to journal. I actually journaled, all of this stuff, you know, after it happened. I have my journals from back, 6 months ago when I started hearing these stories. Um, and yeah, I like to do some art. Sometimes I'll draw and post online, and you know, at least it gives me something to distract myself. I can get lost into a painting. I've done some paintings take me like 15 hours to complete. Um, and you know, when you focus like that, it gives your brain something to focus on and quiets the noise without having to do anything, you know, dangerous like taking medicine or drinking. So,
Oh, absolutely. Being creative, that's always been an outlet for me. I can't draw for crap, but writing is my thing. So I love to write and music. So definitely, it's
yes,
great.
I love music. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great to have something. That's where you need to keep focusing. Just dive into it. Your journals, write, keep drawing, keep
Yeah.
listening to music, stay positive. Again, I know easier said than done, but focus on those things, the things that just make you happy, that occupy your mind, your thoughts. An idle mind is the devil's playground. It's the truth. So we just got to keep our minds occupied and keep with your group. Try not to miss those. I don't want to sound like a parent pointing a finger, but
No, it's okay.
try to stay on that. And like I said before, you sound like you have a good head on your shoulders. You're stronger than you think.
Thanks.
And there's people there for you. You have my contact information. So I want you to know you can reach out to me anytime you want to come back and talk. And I think a lot of people that are in your shoes will hear this, and I think they're going to be inspired of your strength. And you keep going. And I think what you need to keep doing, for Kat, for you. What's good for you? Just focus on that. Ask yourself that every day you wake up. Ask yourself what's going to be good for Kat today,
Right.
and let yourself answer that question. And then you like to journal, maybe write it down what your day is going to be like. Kind of manifest your day, the good things. Write down today. I'm going to do this today. This is what's going to happen today. I'm going to smile today. I'm going to choose to be happy. All the negative thoughts. Get out of my head. I am stronger than you. I'm more powerful than you. Today, I am going to be happy. Today, nothing is going to get the best of Kat. Tell yourself that
Yeah.
every day. And go from there
Yeah.
and keep doing what you're doing. You're here, you're in the moment.
Mhm.
You're living your life. I know a lot of things may suck, but you can get through this. You can work your way through it. But stay away from the things that work against you. And you know what those things are. You're better than that. And again, I don't want to sound like I'm trying to preach to you or anything, but
No, you're fine.
I hear you talk and I hear a lot of the things you say, and I don't hear someone that's too far gone. I'm not listening to a dummy. You're a smart
Yeah.
gal. And
Well, I appreciate that. Thank
yeah,
you.
for sure. Absolutely.
I hope this was helpful for what you needed.
I'm here for you. Again, this is a kind of out of the box for me and for the show. So when they came to me, like I said, I wasn't sure how to approach this, but I want to make sure this is good for you.
Yeah. No,
That's what's important for me.
yeah. There's a part of me that feels like I definitely needed to do this, So I'm thankful to have been able to get the opportunity to do so. So thank you for that.
What does the coming week look like for you? What's going to happen this week?
Work group, obviously. I don't know, maybe I'll try and call my mom or something, see how that goes. Just I think just anything to get me out of whatever routine and funk I'm in right now would be good for me. So maybe just something different. I'll just say something different this week is what I'll do.
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan for sure. Definitely. Pick up the phone, give mom a ring, chat, listen to some music. Remember what I said, just each day, you manifest your day. You don't have to, look too far ahead, week, month, years. No, take it day by day and you manifest each day. Kat is in control of Kat's day.
Mm.
So start it
Right.
on a positive note. Like I said, even if you have to make goals for the day or write down a few things, you manifest it. You're in control. I'm going to stay in touch with you. I'm going to make sure that you're doing that. All right.
All right. Sounds good.
I hope this. It was good getting that off your chest.
Yeah, absolutely.
Such a sensitive thing. So thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, and I appreciate you for listening. I know it's, this stuff can get kind of heavy sometimes, so
Yeah, for sure. But no, it's all good. I'm here for you. Thanks, Kat.
thanks. Appreciate you.
Thank you for listening. I appreciate you being here. If you have an account to share and would like to be on the show, email me at show@accountsoftheparanormal.com and tell me what you saw. You can catch this show wherever you listen to podcasts, as well as our website, accountsoftheparanormal.com, where you can access full episodes and links to all our socials and our YouTube channel, where you can listen and watch along with visual images. And if you're a fan of what you heard here, please like, share, follow, subscribe. I appreciate the support. I'll see you next time.